In that thing, yes, like some other challenges I tried on that.
Mhm. Okay,
Uh, few are like few I found with myself, and in some I need to take the help from internet.
that happens. It's not really something to worry about when you are learning.
Hmm.
There'll be lots of times when you don't know the answer to things, so that happens
Yes,
because
like after finding, like uh, same thing we did in class also. So that thing I found like okay, there was similar challenge in
hmm,
class also, but it was like the most difficult thing I found in that view page code. In that page code, I
hmm.
most of the time I struggle with finding any hint or any hidden ctf. Like if there is any flag hidden inside the code, I found it difficult to like read the code line by line.
See, okay, there's not going to be something within the source code in all cases. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that is going to be there for some CTFs, but not for all of them.
Okay.
And most probably, okay, in most cases,
Mm-hmm.
when you look for the HTML code for a page,
Mm-hmm.
try to look for comments. Okay, most of the time, the hints or answers will be a part of the comments.
Okay.
Not in all cases, like in the in Anthem that we were solving the other day,
Mm-hmm.
they were not in the comments. So that's not always the situation, but it's most common that you'll find these things in the comments.
Okay.
And of course, it happens that you do run into a lot of new stuff. See, this is what this field is like, basically. So you'll run into a lot of new stuff. You'll see things you haven't seen before, and when you run into something like that, you have to look it up. You have to do some research. So that is pretty standard.
Okay.
Don't worry about it.
Currently, like I'm the challenges I was solving was mostly based on Linux only, because I'm like comfortable with Linux, not
Right.
that much comfortable in Windows. So like
You
it
mean
started.
using Windows as the attacking machine, you're not comfortable. That's what you're saying. Or solving challenges that are based on Windows.
Yes, Windows-based target challenges.
Windows based target challenge. Okay. So that's why I'm trying to work on a few Windows challenges so
Mm-hmm.
get the idea as well.
Okay.
But see, either you have Windows as your target or you have Linux. The thing is, your end goal will always be the same.
Okay.
Getting your access, getting some kind of access either through RDP or through shell. See,
Mm-hmm.
RDP is an option only in Windows, of course,
Yeah.
but you need to get some kind of access and escalate your privileges to
To become
eventually become
admin or
root
to.
or administrator,
Mm.
depending on what system you're targeting. So I'm just opening up my system, and we'll pick up from where we left off in the last session on that uh, retro machine that we were solving.
Mm.
So that was also like that is also Windows based. So and there are a lot of similarities in the kind of situations you will see, regardless of whether I talk about Windows or whether I talk about Linux as a target.
Like if port 80 is open, we need to like visit the
Yes,
page and view the code.
exactly. If
Use
there
the
is
nmap to scan,
yes, the differences arise when you actually access that
access
system.
the machine only.
Yeah, if there is a web server that is vulnerable, it will be vulnerable on Linux and it will be vulnerable on Windows if the same kind of CMS is being used. Of course, the web server itself will be different,
Hmm.
but okay, let's consider we're talking about CMS. Because server Windows uses IIS and Linux uses this
Yeah, Apache or Nginx.
Apache and yeah. So server will be different, but let's say you're using the same CMS and it has a vulnerability. So that is going to be the same in both cases. Okay, so we were on this one. Okay, let me just share this. Okay, so this is the machine that we were attacking, and let us deploy it. So it takes a minute for this to come up. Okay, so this is the IP. Just copy this, paste it here. Let us see if I'm first checking if it is up and accessible or not, because it can take a few minutes before you can actually access these systems. These because these are all basically cloud instances that are running, so it can take a while to boot up. Okay, it's up.
Hmm.
So we found a URL which was retro. Right, we had found that URL, right? Or
Yes.
yeah. Okay. So let's see what we get here. I think we are getting a website, Retro Fanatics. Okay, so this is a website that we get. So yeah, it looks like it's an article about an arcade games cabinet.
Mm-hmm.
Not sure whether this will help us. Okay, there's this login screen. Let's see if we are able to do anything there. I can try the default of admin because as of this moment we don't really have any other credentials to try out for now.
Hmm.
Okay, so let's go back. Now we know that this is made using WordPress now. Okay, that much is known to us. So I can try using WP scan and oh, I have it copied, I think. Yeah. And I want it to enumerate users as well. So let's see. Let's try seeing what we can find on the website. So this article is written by someone known as Wade. Okay, so we know that there is one user known as Wade. We don't really know anyone else currently. And even our WP scan is able to only figure out the Wade username, nothing else. So if we are able to get a password, then maybe we'll be able to do something further. So let's see. First portion, okay, doesn't really tell us anything. Okay, this is just related to Pac-Man, nothing else. I don't really see anything so far which we might be able to use for our purpose.
Hmm.
Can you see anything or any link which we might be able to follow, which could give us some hint or something?
A link to past.
Pardon?
There's the Legend of Zelda: A Link to Past
Link to past. Where is that? I don't see this link.
on the top.
Okay, this one. Okay.
Yes.
But if you see the link at the bottom left side of the window, that's just going to direct you to an actual website dedicated to that Legend of Zelda. It used to be a very popular game actually. So, okay, there is something here. You can say recent comments weighed on Ready Player One. If I click this, okay, so first of all, if you read this article, okay, so it says, I can't believe the movie based on my favorite book is going to come out in a few days. And so maybe it's because my name is similar to the main character, but I don't know. Okay. Now, okay, this line is important. Okay, read this properly. I keep mistyping the name of his avatar whenever I log in.
Hmm.
So when he logs in,
Mm-hmm.
he's using the name of the avatar from Ready Player One. So whoever the protagonist is, they're using some avatar in game, and that avatar's name is what this person is using when they log in. But I think I'll eventually get it down. Either way, I'm really excited to. Okay, that's not useful. So if you take a look at the comments, okay, so this says, leaving myself a note here just in case I forget how to spell it. Parzival. So this is probably the name of the avatar for the protagonist in Ready Player One. But this could mean that it's a possible password. Okay, so if I try to log in, let me see if I'm able to do that here or not. Wait, Parzival. Are we able to log in? okay, we are able to log in, but in this case, there's nothing really for us to do here. Okay, in WordPress, there's nothing for us to do. But one thing is confirmed that this person is using this Parzival as their password. So now if I do an Nmap scan again for this IP, so other than port 80, we also have port 3389 open, which is
RDP.
RDP. So I can try logging into RDP. Maybe we'll be able to log in, maybe not. Let's see. So I use this X-free RDP, specify the username, which is Wade.
Wade.
The password was the same that we found there, Parzival. I'm not sure of the pronunciation, but anyway. And the IP, of course, is this. So, okay, username Wade. Okay. Let's try to connect. Okay, so we are able to log in using
Sir,
RDP again. Yes.
can you repeat that thing? Like where we access that port 80, we found a link for port 80 in Nmap scan. Like port 80 is open.
We just, if you ran an Nmap scan,
Mm-hmm.
okay, simple Nmap scan shows you that two ports are open at
Yes.
80 for HTTP
Hmm.
and 3389, which is for RDP.
Okay. And from port 80, we visited this website. Where was this
Yes.
page?
So the website is what we went to from port 80. Okay. So there's just two ports open. It's either the website or the RDP
Okay.
service that's running.
Hmm.
Okay. So shall I continue?
Yes.
Okay. So now we have logged in using
Wade
RDP.
user.
So we are logged in as Wade on this system. So now there is this file called user.txt. I can just open this. So this would be our user flag.
Okay.
So okay, we have obtained the user flag by just logging into the system. So you can come back here and write the user flag. And the only thing that's left now is to get the root flag. So for that, we have to perform some kind of privilege escalation. But if you look around on the system, there's not a lot of files that we're going to find. It's mostly just empty. I go to users. Okay, there's Wade, public and administrator. Now, administrator will not be allowed to us. Even if you
Hmm.
do that, you'll need the password, which
Admin
we do
password.
not have. Public, again, this is going to be just empty. There's going to be nothing there.
Can we try to look into the hidden files also?
Okay, we can try. There's no guarantee that you'll find anything, but of course, you can try. Whenever you are attacking a system, it's always good to try everything that you can.
Okay.
So it may be the case that you'll find something here. What is this? Okay, public desktop is usually nothing. Libraries, recorded TV. Okay, not really of any use to us. It, what is it? Okay, default is just this app data and stuff, and I think that is going to be empty as well. Documents again. Yes, this is all going to be empty. And for Wade, even there's not going to be anything of use here.
Hmm.
Contacts, okay, app data. Okay, app data will not really give us anything. Okay, desktop. Okay, desktop is already this stuff. Okay, let's take a look at what is present in the recycle bin. Okay, there's something here. It is HHUPD. Okay, I don't know how we'll use this or whether it may be even useful to us or not. So we're just going to leave it for the time being. And there is a shortcut to Google Chrome. Now, see, Google Chrome does not come installed by default
Mhm.
on any system. Okay, on Windows or on Linux, this is not installed by default. So if this is installed, that means it has been explicitly installed by someone. So I think it would be helpful if we check this out. So let's go to uh, Google Chrome. Let's see if there's anything. If I check the history, will I see anything useful here? Do you see anything in the history that we can use? So this is
Base
just
64 encode decode.
base 64. What are you going to do with base 64? We don't really have anything that's encoded or decoded. And the history
Hmm.
page is only going to take you to the website and not if they actually encoded something. It's not going to give you that value.
And the CVE portal MRC Microsoft.
Yes, okay, that is what is going to be useful to us. Okay, let it go. We just go back to the history again. Okay, yeah, I think the scroll is very slow on that. That's why it's working like this. But it's also in the bookmarks. Okay, the CV that this person was looking for, this CV 2019 1388. So let me try that. Let me try. Okay, this system is not connected to the internet. So let's just try looking for this on our system. CVE, not CVE 2019 1388. Okay, so let's look for this. See what we can find out. Okay, let's read up. Let's see. So this is a vulnerability, and it tells us that an elevation of privilege vulnerability, matlab basically privilege escalation,
Hmm.
exists in the Windows certificate dialog when it does not properly enforce user privileges, also known as Windows Certificate Dialog Elevation of Privilege Vulnerability. Okay, but the next question is, how do we get that Windows Certificate Dialog to open? Okay, if I come down here, okay, there's something known as the hhupd.exe exploit. Okay, so this, I think this was the file that we
That
saw
we
on the system.
sign delete
Oh, I think I closed the
recyclable.
RDP by mistake. My bad. I'll just. Meanwhile, let's try and read up what we can find out about it. So it says that there is a privilege escalation vulnerability in the Windows certificate dialog allowing an attacker. Okay. So it says there is a video as well. In this case, they use the hhupd.exe to perform the attack. So since there is a lot of search for the example, it took some time for me to find and download the exe. But I think we don't need to download anything. Okay, we just have it here. So let us see the properties. What is the location? Origin is desktop. Okay, so it should be restored to the desktop. Okay, and here it is. So for this, you can take a look at the application or take a look at this exploit and see how to perform the exploit. So you can watch this video. Sorry, this is a video. Okay, so I'm posting this link in the chat as well. Okay, so I've pasted the link here.
Mhm.
So I want you to go through this video and then you'll tell me how to exploit this.
So
Yes.
mm, I think we can in this video what they have shown, they run this program, and
Okay.
after running it was asking for the admin password,
Hmm.
which is not available. So
Oh,
post
that
that
is
they download the certificate,
okay.
and after saving that certificate they like open the CMD with save certificate from web and
Okay.
open.
See, what we're going to do is I'm going to open up an instance of both browsers just in case. And what we need to do is, like you said, we need to run this. Now, of course, we don't really have these credentials, but that is not our concern for the moment. We already read that it has something to do with the Windows certificate dialog.
Hmm.
So in order to get that, I need to click on show more details, show information about the publisher's certificate. So I click here. Okay, so this information I get now. I don't really care about this information, but there is this link which I can go to.
CA certificate.
Okay, so now it tells me how to open this website. Now there is an issue with this particular system with the Windows Server version that they are using. So it does not open properly sometimes. Okay, let me try again. Again, the same thing. Okay,
I think you need to check the checkbox.
even if you do check the checkbox, you won't be able to click on OK. So that's not going to help you in this case. We have both the browsers open, but that fix didn't help as well. Okay, actually, what we can do is now I'm actually going to close this connection. Go back to try hack me. They mentioned that an alternative version of this room is available, Blaster. Sometimes this retro one does not work properly. Okay, if it works, it works. If it does not, then it will get stuck. So right now it is stuck. What I can go do is I can go to Blaster instead and terminate this. So that is the exact same room. It's just they have a little more hand holding here. So it's a walkthrough room instead of a normal room. Sorry, a challenge room. There are two different types of CTFs they have on this site. So they just in this one they've explained stuff step by step instead of. So we can try exploiting this. In most CTFs, however, you'll see that Windows machines are usually rarer than Linux ones because most CTFs are built using Linux. So even if you go to this website now, they have a sufficient number of Windows CTFs as well, but the majority is in Linux. I'm just going to copy this, which is the IP address now, and try logging in. Failed to connect. Okay, we may need to wait for a couple of minutes
Mm.
to ensure that it's booted up properly. Okay, give it a few minutes. Okay. If you're running a web server, a lot of people prefer Linux rather than Windows. That's why you'll see a lot of exercises based on Windows. Sorry, based on Linux rather than Windows. Let's try once more. Failed to connect. Wait for a couple more minutes. Am I able to ping it yet, or even that is not happening? Okay, ping is working for that system. Okay, I think now it's up. Timeout waiting for activation. Still not ready to connect.
Windows time took longer than Linux machines.
Yes, exactly. Even they mentioned that it's Windows, so it's taking time.
Mm.
Again, timeout. So, like I mentioned, that's this one is a walkthrough.
Mm.
So, in the walkthrough, they guide you through the room. So, it's a guided version of the same thing. So, okay. Let me wait a couple more minutes and then I'll try to connect again. The reason I don't want to prefer this over the retro one is that it's a little slow. With everything that it does, it's quite slow. Even when you work on it, you'll see that it's, I don't know, maybe it's the configuration or something, but this one is the system, the Windows machine here. It's slower than the one which is being used
Hmm.
for retro. Let's try again. See, get. It shouldn't really take this much time to set up. I could also use this Remina or Remina, which is another tool for accessing
Hmm.
RDP. New connection server is this. What is up with this system?
Why it was not connecting with that other tool, XRDP1?
Because XVRDP has a timeout window, so if it does not get a response within that time frame, it automatically terminates the connection from its end. But that is not the case with this tool.
Okay.
And like I mentioned, this machine is much slower. It's still,
Mm.
we still haven't reached the desktop. I think I should still give it a couple more minutes, otherwise it's not going to work. And it still hasn't loaded fully. Okay, let's try seeing here. See, it's so slow that if I try to double click this. Okay, so this is your user.txt. Again, if you go to through the excruciatingly slow process of opening this up, you'll be able to find the flag. And if I go to recycle bin here, I'll see that oh, okay. So there is our exe file. Okay, so what we need to do is first we restore this, which hopefully happens sometime this decade. This should not take this much time. Okay, that was fast. Close this. So this is our executable.
Mhm.
So again, the process would be the same like what we saw in the video, and the same thing that we were trying to do last time. this. Let me see if it has opened in Explorer. Okay, so it is opening. But you see that this device has no internet connection, just like the other room, just like Retro.
Mm.
So it does not really have an internet connection, but
Mm.
that is actually not going to bother us. Okay, I'm just going to let it open whatever page it opens, and then I'm going to continue.
But if it is not
Okay,
connected
so
to internet, how you will download the certificate?
we don't actually need to download the certificate. See, what I'll do is I'll simply save this page, file, save as. Now we should get that save as dialog box to open up. Okay, so this dialog box is opening up now, which is what I need now. Okay, if read this properly. See, Windows System 32 config system profile desktop is unavailable. That means we are currently running this with whatever we are doing is with system privileges. If the
Okay.
location is on this PC, make sure the hard drive, the rest is not important. So what I need to do here is I need to go to C Windows System 32 and
Mm-hmm.
CMD. So I need to find CMD there and open that. So I'll type it here. C.
Windows.
Yes, Windows System 32. System 32. And since I wanted to show me all type of files, I'll do
Mm.
this asterisk dot asterisk. So you can see we are now in system 32, and I need to just look for CMD. Okay, no, don't scroll that much. This is this actually is so slow. It's somewhat annoying to work with it. Just need to go back to CMD and okay, we're at D, so we should be quite close. This is CMD.
Mm.
Right click and open. So if you notice, we are at CMD and
Mm-hmm.
we are running as administrator.
Okay.
Okay. So now let's go to CD. Okay, let's change to C users administrator. Mistyped, I think. Okay, let's see what directories are present. Let's check out desktop first because that is usually where these flags are. So let's check out that desktop dir. See what's here. So dir is the equivalent of ls. And okay, there is a file
root.txt.
root.txt. So what is the command to access this file?
Access this file.
Via the command line itself.
Okay, it will not work here.
That will not work. The command is type
Okay.
root.txt, and this thing, that this output that you get, that is your root flag.
Common operated exploitation.
Yeah, so that is your root flag. So that is how we solve this. If this system worked a little faster, would have been done with this one by now. But okay, no worries. And we are going to tell it connect now. Okay, so we close the connection, terminate the instance, and that's it. So with Windows devices, usually the flags will be found on the desktop, whereas with Linux, you'll find flags in the home directory for users, or for the root flag, you'll find that in the root directory itself.
Okay.
Now, of course, I'm not saying that these are the only locations where you'll find flags, but these are the most common.
Hmm.
So that is another Windows machine done. Now, do you have any questions from this process? Anything that might have been unclear? Any doubt that you would want to clarify?
No, not for now.
No? Okay. Now, in any system, of course, there are multiple services running, and there might be multiple vulnerabilities. Okay, so when you try out this, when you try hacking this system,
Mhm.
there is another way to do that. Okay, so I'll not be covering that here in this session, but when you attempt this, I'd encourage you to try that out as well.
Hmm.
Okay, and that different method, that alternate method, that works well with retro as well. That does not have an issue.
Okay.
Okay, so when you practice, try to find out the other method as well.
Okay.
That is slightly easier than this one. That exploiting that is slightly easier. Okay, so practice this. You know, attending class is good, but practicing is what builds up confidence. So practice this, and that's where you'll know if you have any issues or if you have any doubts. So tomorrow we'll move on to another CTF which I find very interesting. So I'm going
Okay.
to cover that tomorrow.